Good morning, everybody. Ignore the mess. I've been cooking. So it's a very, very, very sad day today. At 12 weeks out, my bread has gone. He removed it yesterday, so my rest day bread and salmon had gone. That was a very sad day. Just because I like it, not because I'm sad because I want it to stay because I'm scared of being hungry, but more just I love it. I love the putting it all together and whatnot, but needs a must. It is what it is. So obviously my morning breakfast was the French toast thing with the whey and the dark chocolate and the banana and the bread. But obviously without the bread, I don't just want to have whey, fruit and dark chocolate because that would be a very sad meal. So I've opted for some eggs today. I've made them the scrambled variety. I've got 275 grams of egg whites and one whole egg with a little bit of veggies in there, and then I'm going to have some blueberries along the side of it as well, you know, just to make it really exciting. This bowl here is definitely Cuba's, not mine. So apologies for maybe getting you excited for the fact that I might be having some extra carbs. This is my second to last week before I do a little diet break. Body weight has come down-ish. But obviously the visuals are very different. I've been on assistance now for the last 5 weeks. Obviously that's going to come out after this week because I don't stay on forever. So that's probably why my body weight's been a little bit more sticky, but the visual changes have been there. So happy days. I'm going to eat my breakfast and then I'll talk a bit more shit afterwards. So Caesar's joining me for breakfast today. He's actually not a very greedy dog, but he is a very needy dog. So if Caesar's ever about, he actually just wants tickle, he doesn't want your food. Xena, on the other hand, is a very greedy dog. If she's about, it's because she wants your food, not you. So I'm going to tuck in, eat my wonderful eggs. They actually taste pretty great, so I've done a good job there. And then I'm going to get on with some cooking. Just a normal Saturday. I don't actually have check-ins on a Saturday, but I do have, obviously, client work to do. We do have a call for our excellence program as well, which will obviously be lovely. You can obviously have a little look at that. Some kind of Q&A questions for today. We did a lecture on fats a couple of days ago that was really great. So yeah, looking forward to that. Cooper's been a little bit poorly, so I am training on my own today, and then we'll get back in line probably either later this week or next week with just kind of reshuffling stuff. So I'm making my own food. Well, I obviously make my own food every day, but I mean, I'm just making my training day meals because we don't have potatoes on a rest day. We only have potatoes on a training day because I don't really like them that much, but then it just gives me a little bit of variety on a training day. So that's why I have them. So I'm going to actually make 2 days worth of potatoes because 100 grams is a very measly portion. So I'm just going to make 200 grams worth of potato. So everybody thinks that when you diet that you have to eat really plain and boring foods, and I think that that's the reason why most people can't. It's not even so much diet, but why people can't stick to eating healthily or eating well, should we say. Obviously, if you're not a competitor, do I expect you to just be eating chicken and potatoes, rice and beef every day? No, like you are going to have a little bit of something more each week, probably a meal off with your partner, family, friends, etc., maybe a couple of drinks, etc. But you can really choose good options, and if you actually learn to cook well and learn how to make your foods taste nice, you'd probably be more inclined to actually then stick to it. I think that there's something that's therapeutic about cooking. I think you're obviously in here, you're not on your phone, you're not scrolling through social media, you're not kind of just watching telly and kind of your mind being a bit like boggled and fried or whatnot. You can literally just like get a little bit creative. Like I am the least creative person in the world, but actually getting here just lets me forget about other stuff, and I think it's quite nice. It also does not take a long time. It does not take a long time to peel a potato, to put some rice in a rice cooker, to put some chicken in an air fryer, to put some vegetables in a microwave or on the boil, etc. It is so easy, and there's so many things now at the supermarkets that you can get that are already kind of pre-chopped potatoes, pre-chopped onions, carrots, asparagus without the ends on, etc. It's so easy, like you don't even have to prepare a lot of things anymore. You can literally just get it in and then cook it. Herbs, spices, season, salt, pepper, etc. to make it taste quite nice, and it's really simple. So I'm going to show you what I do. So to make the potatoes lovely, what I'm going to do is peel and chop them, and then I put them onto boil. I'm going to let them go a little bit soft, and then get them out with the sieve, shake them about a little bit to fluff them up, as my mum would call it. Whack them in the air fryer and they come out looking like just roast potatoes. Obviously there's no duck fat on them, but they still taste absolutely fantastic, especially when they do have a little bit of salt on them. So give them a go. Also, if you do want to take nutritional advice from someone who is a bodybuilder because they choose to take anabolic steroids, then full on you really, because regardless of the choices that they make of that, they obviously know the choices that they make and the risks that they choose to take when they do take those things. But when it comes to actual nutrition, I mean, I can speak for myself that if anybody who isn't a bodybuilder, or anyone who is a bodybuilder that isn't that way inclined in terms of they're not an assisted bodybuilder, if you were to apply the things that I talk about with training, with commitment, with effort, with relentless kind of push, and with your nutrition and your eating habits, you would actually change. You'd probably improve. I mean, there's an element of bodybuilding potentially that has a little bit too much focus on food. Definitely aware of that. I get highly food focused towards the end of my competition prep, but through my off seasons, I don't. So I'm the type of person that when I choose to come away from bodybuilding, I don't think that I'll have an issue at all. Maybe some people would do. I think that you can learn a lot, and if you are willing to just take the things in that people are talking about, even if they potentially make a choice that you don't agree with, maybe the things that they're actually talking about, that you, if you would apply them, if you weren't so stubborn, you'd actually probably find that you'd make some really good progress and get to change your ways, your methods, your health, your longevity with everything in life if you actually just applied those things. It's fresh every single day, because when you do leave rice, it forms a type of bacteria that's actually really bad for your gut. And if you are someone who does struggle a little bit with potentially tummy issues, and you do have fresh rice and you maybe use it for like a few days in a row, that could potentially be one of the reasons as to why. I mean, 1 or 2 days is fine, but definitely probably nothing past that. I had one of my clients who was having it, and it was causing for them to actually vomit, and they thought that they had food poisoning, but it was just the bacteria. And you'll see it, like it goes slimy, you can see it on top. And that's what really affects a lot of people's digestion. The one thing that you don't want to do as a bodybuilder is get bad digestion. If that happens, your performance goes to shit, you feel like shit, you'll struggle to be able to keep your appetite in a good space, especially in the off season when you want to be pushing the foods. So we cook it fresh every day. I know that some people don't have the time to be able to do that, but kind of 1-2 days. And it's so easy. You literally put some rice in a rice cooker, wash it, always wash your rice, otherwise it'll come out not the nicest. And again, that bacteria actually builds a lot easier if you don't actually wash your rice. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Wash it, put it in the rice cooker, it'll be fresh for a day. We actually eat that much rice that we probably couldn't actually use it for more than 1 day, because I pretty much do the enough amount of rice in here to be able to just last for a day anyway. So yeah. Post-workout, we've got 100 grams of creamy rice with a little bit of sweetener in there just to make it extra sweet, because that's nice after workout. And I've got some berries in there. I like them frozen at the minute, because fresh berries, especially at this time of year in the UK, go off really quickly. And I've got my whey in a pot that I'll make a paste when I get to the gym, and then I'll show you when I'm actually there. An easy way to be organised for your day: either cook the night before or the morning of. Make sure that everything's prepared in containers. It just means that then you aren't rushing about, you aren't trying to do everything at once and forgetting things. It just means that you can obviously remember everything and not miss out on everything that you're supposed to do. I'm just making my intra workouts and the pre-workout ready for when I go to train, just so that when it's time to go I can pick up my stuff and literally just leave. In my intra workout here we've got the MPS. I'll go through how much of it a little bit later. I also have some coconut water and Sustain, so my carbs in this bit with the main bulk of water. Obviously I will have my intra-workout aminos, so my protein serving, halfway through my workout, because then that's obviously halfway from my last meal to that next meal, so that I can keep my spikes of protein consistent throughout the day. Potentially that's a little bit overkill, but works best for my head. And then I have my pre-workout, which is pumpage, to get some extra pump in my push session, because obviously as you get through prep, the pumps become a little bit less than what they are. I think if they go completely dead, that's probably not a good sign, but obviously there probably are going to be times where you feel less pump, which is when you're trying to push a little bit more, which is what we're doing right now. So every little bit helps. So this is pump, glutamine and creatine, both of these at 5 grams. I also have this in my morning drink as well, so I have 5 grams of glutamine in my morning drink, 5 grams of creatine in my morning drink, and that's pretty much one of my health supplements for the day. Meal 2. I made the steak yesterday. My steak usually lasts me for kind of 2 or 3 days in the fridge. I know my kind of weight that I need for my 125 grams of raw weight steak. So I'm just going to put that in there. I made a big mistake. I forgot to put my air fryer on with my potatoes. So it looks like we're having boiled potatoes today, but I'll show you the ones that come out of the air fryer for tomorrow. The ones I've finished my meal. So the ones that I'm going to have now probably are going to look a little bit anemic, but they'll still taste nice, so it's fine. I'm going to have 125 grams of steak. There's about 50 grams of veg in there, and I'm also going to have 100 grams of pineapple, and the potatoes are at 100 grams. That is on a push and pull day. On lower body days, I actually have 220 grams of potatoes. So obviously those days we get to eat a little bit more, because obviously the sessions are a little bit more taxing. Whereas obviously my push and pull sessions, as much as I train very hard, they're not as taxing as a lower body session. So that's why my calories are a little bit lower on a push and pull days. But I'm going to come on to that in a little while, but I do actually have a new training split at the moment, which the sessions are still similar-ish, but it's just meaning that we can actually train on specific days of the week, which actually works quite nicely with our schedule. And I am doing some lower body stuff in a pull session, so that day I actually do my lower day meal plan. So we could call that session a density program, but I've not actually done a density program since like 2020, so I quite enjoy it. I do my hip hinges to begin with, a hip thrust, some more leg stuff, and then into my pull work as well, but I'll go through that a little bit more later. There's a fail on the potatoes, but they still taste nice, so the ones for tomorrow cooking now. It's not very dramatic because there's only 2 of them, but that's 100 grams of potatoes, and they literally look like my mum's lovely roast potatoes. They'll be nice and crunchy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, and ready to eat. Right, I'm not going to look at you because I'm driving, but I'm going to talk, and I am watching the road just in case you think that I'm not looking at the road. So my last meal that I just had was obviously my pre-workout meal. That was 125 grams of turkey, 50 grams of some veggies, and then I had 75 grams of rice. The rice amount has just come down, so on a push day like what I'm doing today, obviously rice is at 75, and then on a leg day my rice is at 100 grams. Again, like I said earlier, that's literally just because of the fact that I am doing more on a lower body day than obviously my upper body days, so it just requires a little bit more food. To be fair, I haven't had my meal plan set up like this since 2020, the last time that Kuba had my diet set out for a different amount of foods on different training days was actually back then. So I actually quite like it because it's almost like low, medium and high days, which is quite nice. Obviously I don't go and have like an off-plan meal on my high days, but it just allows me to be able to keep my performance good on the days that it's needed. My steps are around 10, no, not 10, around 15k. Sometimes they go up a little bit higher than that, just because of I struggle to sit down a lot even when I'm working at my desk. So prior to obviously having my pre-workout meal, we had our Q&A call with the Excellence Program. Our Excellence Program is for athletes or coaches, obviously more bodybuilding focused. We do have lots of lectures based on things more from a lifestyle basis or from an aspect of obviously pure competitive bodybuilding. We have Q&A calls each week where the members of the team are able to ask any questions that they'd like that we could cover from a team basis. They obviously have our personal contacts and the Telegram group chat that we all speak on where they can ask questions, etc. We have members on the team who ask us to do a full case study based upon potentially a problem that they've come up against and how we would go about trying to fix that problem. We also have lectures each week on a variety of different topics. The last few weeks, one's been around skill acquisition with training, one based around fats and its applicability, because the one thing that's different about the way in which we run the program compared to potentially other informative forums or videos or kind of help places is that in most places you'll learn about that one thing, but you'll not learn about its applicability to people on a competitive bodybuilding realm or people obviously day-to-day general population. It'll more just be this is what it does on a general consensus and that's it. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, as my granddad would say, whereas we like to put it in a setting of how would you then apply that, and then obviously people can ask any questions on that around it. We also have training plan templates that we do share every 12 weeks for different ones of them based on a different thing, whether that be push-pull legs, lower body specific, bikini style training, something that's specific more towards a men's physique competitor, something that's more kind of from a beginner point of view for someone who's just starting training, and then we also have a video attached to that explaining how you would apply that based upon obviously your level or obviously someone else's needs, or depending on kind of what it is that they do for work. And that's pretty much what it is. It's a really great program. We've got some really great members on it, some really loyal members on it that's been on it since the start, and it's only the beginning. We are looking to expand that into more of a website kind of app basis potentially into the future that we'll be able to share with more people. But obviously if you do want to join it, please either pop me or Kuba a message on Instagram and we can obviously get you set up on it, especially if you are someone potentially who coaches themselves, as in yourself, or whether you actually coach other people, because there's so much information, it's information overload, and I think that sometimes it's good to just bring it back to basic bodybuilding simplicity, and also for if you do have any nagging questions that you obviously get to share that with other people, because that's the best thing. When I first started being a coach, obviously I had Kuba in the next room to me, and the fact that I could ask those questions, and it's obviously very important to learn from mistakes and potentially get some things wrong, etc., but there's certain things that you do not want to get wrong because it's other people's lives that they're putting trust in you to be able to develop. So yeah, having someone there to be able to guide you and help you is something that's priceless in my opinion. Right, just finished my session. I forgot to film what was in my intro workout because I definitely forgot, but I had 20 grams of Sustain with 200 mils of coconut water in my big drink, which is my carb powder, and then in my littler drink, which is in my shaker that I have halfway through my session, is my MPS, and I have 25 grams of that. So session is all done, just about to get stuck into my post-workout meal, which Kuba actually kindly made this morning. It's 100 grams of, I think it's, I've not tried it yet, but I think it's the coconut and white chocolate cream of rice by Trained by JP, which is my favourite. I have 150 grams of a little mixture of strawberries and raspberries, and then I also have 40 grams of whey isolate as well that I'm going to make into a little paste and add on top as well. So I'm going to eat that in peace, check my work phone, make sure that everything's all okay before we drive home. The second to last meal is this wonderfulness. I've not actually had to make this in the pan because I got home yesterday and I had asked Kuba to make my meal, and I went, have you not made my meal? He was like, yeah, it's here. I was like, oh, well, that's actually my training day, meal 5, and today is rest day, but thank you for that. So this was made yesterday, which is fine, it's lovely. So here we have a side of stubborn dog, 50 grams of rice, 75 grams of veg, and 125 grams of chicken. And I also have a dog that's telling me that his water bowl is empty, if you can hear that. So I'm going to stick into it. I'm going to get stuck into it, going to eat it, because I've got one of my lovely clients, Lucy. I've been coaching her since 2020. She's just decided to transition over from her work to becoming a massage therapist. She's going to do a little bit of both to begin with, just to make sure that she fully loves it, and just so she can build up some clients. So I'm going to let her do me some massages, because I'll always be honest with her, because I have been since 4 years ago now. But she's lovely. She's going to compete this year for the second time, because she didn't compete last year. She did the 21 season. She is a natural competitor. She wants to get her pro card as a natty in obviously the NPC, and I 100% think that it's achievable. So I'm looking forward to what her prep's going to look like. She'll watch it and she'll probably think, oh, it's nice, and then she'll cringe a little bit, because we're both not really like soppy. But I'm going to eat this now. I'm going to stop talking shit, so sorry. So just finished my massage with Lucy. It was absolutely fantastic. I'll give her some pointers and some feedback so that she can get even better as she moves forward, doing all the lovely people at UltraFlex Rotherham and obviously surrounding areas. I already told you to get in contact with her if you do want a massage and you are in the area. But yeah, that is the end of my shenanigans for the day. My last meal is 50 grams of oats, the 40 grams of whey, 10 grams of dark chocolate, and 100 grams of berries. And Gaz is going to put a little picture here. Please like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let me know if there's anything that you'd like to see with prep things or food things, etc. Hopefully you took some value from today. Like, share, subscribe. I think I've said it. Thanks.